Hey everybody, I'm Tommy.
And I'm Patty.
And we are
Alderman Farms.
Welcome back to Sustainable Saturday.
We said it right.
We said it right.
Well, today we're going to talk about water. And water is something that I feel like we've had some practice with.
Yeah.
Because we're in the South and we have hurricanes and we lose power. Well, let me explain our water situation. We have a well, so it takes electricity. We don't have city water at all. It's not even close to our house. So we have to have electricity for us to have water. So we have practice with water because of hurricanes coming. And we have a ritual that we go through. We fill up pitchers of water where we can have drinking water. Also, sometimes I'll take my dish pans and I'll put water in the dish pans where I can have water to wash dishes.
This is a ritual we go through when we know there's a possibility.
That's right.
Of a power outage. So
or even bad weather coming. Like if we know that there's a line of really, really strong thunderstorms coming through, we'll still fill up pitchers of water just where we'll have drinking water. And I also, sometimes I keep a couple of gallons of store-bought water too, just because it's shelf stable and everything. And
shout out to the local power company for which our youngest son Corey works for them.
That's right.
And I'm not just saying that, I'm not just shouting out because of that, but they do a great job of getting power restored. So this is not a knock on them.
No,
when I say that. But anytime there's a huge storm, there's a potential for extended power outages because we are in a rural area. Anytime you have electricity running through wires, elevated wires, in a rural area where there are lots of trees, you never know. So we like to try to be ready.
Yeah, and honestly, that's the biggest hurdle we have to jump over, I think, when we're looking at power outages and stuff like that is water. And another thing that we do, so our toilets don't flush if we lose power because we don't have the force of water coming in. So what we do is we fill up the bathtub. We have one bathroom that has a bathtub in it. We fill up the bathtub and we'll take a bucket of water out of the bathtub and dump it in the toilet to make the toilet flush. No big deal. We also have put buckets up under the eaves of the house to catch water. That gives the dog some water to drink, and if we have to carry any water to the animals, or if he has to carry water to the animals, or if we run out of the water in the bathtub, we could do that.
What did we used to do that we can't do anymore?
Well, I was fixing to talk about Katrina. The Hurricane Katrina came through, and we were without power for 10 days.
In August.
In August, yes. And it's very hot here in August. But what he was talking about is we used to have a swimming pool that we had for the kids, and it was an above-the-ground pool, one of the soft-sided kinds. So
by the way, that's pretty cool that she knew what I was talking about.
Yeah,
because
I knew, yeah.
We didn't talk about. I just remembered that, and we didn't talk about it before doing the video. So I love my wife. She reads my mind, and she knew exactly what I was talking about.
Yep. Well, that's how we bathed. It was with the swimming pool, and it was more or less a spit bath, a little more than a spit bath because we could dump water over ourselves and everything. So that was a blessing, and I guess that would be the longest that we've been without power and turning our faucets on and having water. Now, of course, my little preparations that I do by filling up the bathtub, filling up pitchers of water and all that did not last us through Katrina. What we did do through Katrina was we have a generator. And so Tommy would hook the generator up to the well, and we would run the generator and to power up the well. Then we would fill up the bathtubs and fill up our water pitchers and, recoup. And he wouldn't have to do that every day. That was just every few days. But so we were able to do that.
So a word about that. Make sure you have a generator. Yeah, well, I say make sure. If you have the means, it's a good idea to have. Lots of people have little small generators to run lights or maybe even freezers and stuff during a power outage. If you have the means and can afford it, I recommend that you get a generator that can power your well if you're on a well. because it takes 220. The well does. So
Yeah. Not just any generator can.
not
can
just
power
any
that
generator
up.
can do that. And then you can go from Home Depot or anywhere and get what they call it, a pigtail. Where you can wire it, one end of it wired directly to your water well. Make sure you turn the breakers off just in case the power were to come back
Yes.
on while you're fooling with it. But you can wire that pigtail directly to the well, and then plug it right into the 220 socket on. And they got all kind of pigtails that you can match it. You can match what the socket looks like on the front of your generator.
Yeah, and that worked out fine. We had water and everything. What do we do? Oh, that's right. We bathed the swimming pool. That's right. So, that all worked out just fine for us. But, we're talking longer term than
Yeah, what happens if it's longer than
2 weeks,
10 days, 2
Yeah,
weeks, a month?
So, we're talking worst case scenario, can't get gas to keep running the generator. I'm sure that's what we would do even if we knew we were going to be without power for an extended period of time. I'm sure we would still use the generator to a certain extent to recoup our water.
Well,
but
part of the ritual that we go through also is making sure we fill up all our gas tanks.
yeah, we make sure we have all of our gas cans full.
I mean.
Yeah, and but anyway, but we're looking at beyond that.
Yeah.
Beyond that, if it doesn't keep raining and water dripping off the roof, we have to continually do that. We do have one thing that I bought years ago, and we've never used it, but we bought it in case of emergency, and like this. It's called a well bucket, and I was expecting it to look like a cute well bucket, but it don't. It's a long PVC pipe, and I guess you can show the picture of that, huh?
Yeah. Here it is.
And
So it's got a one-way valve in it.
Yeah.
So that, when you lower it down, and it fits inside the casing. And I'm sure we found this one at the co-op in Pike County. Is that right?
no, I ordered it, I think.
I thought you got it anyway.
I don't know. I don't know where it's been 10 to 20 years ago.
Yeah. We've never
Well,
had to use it.
10 to 15 years ago, yeah.
But it fits inside the well casing, and you can find one to fit inside your well casing. And we really need to get rope long enough to go down there. But
Yeah, I have some paracord, but I really would like something more substantial. I did have some other rope, but I think we've used it for something else. So
that'd be tough.
yeah, I need to write that on my list. We need to have rope for our well bucket.
But as you see, you lower it down through the pipe, and once it gets down to the water, the gate on the bottom of the pipe will open to allow the pipe to sink, the quote unquote bucket to sink, and water fill up in there. And then when you start pulling, it closes and holds the water in.
But it's only gonna pull up like a gallon or two at a time. I mean, we will be in shape if we're having to do that.
Yeah, thank goodness it's a gallon or two at a time.
Yeah, but
Because I think our well's about 150 foot deep, or maybe water's at 75.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it goes all the way down, but water is at 75 feet.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's going to take a lot of work to do that. And when you talk about water, you're going to have to be having water for us. Of course, I guess we would figure out something other to do than using the toilets in the bathroom. To be flushing. That's what in other countries they say we flush something very precious that to them we flush water down the toilet all the time.
Yeah.
And in other countries they don't do that, or not as much as we do anyway. But we have all these animals. We have all the goats. We have chickens. We have pigs. We have dogs. So we're not talking about enough water for just me and Tommy. We're talking about quite a bit of water. But I do believe that's sustainable for us to be able to do that. Now, if we have rope, and we have pulled our well before, our pump out of our well. We do know how to do that.
Fun.
I did not know how to do that before we got the well bucket. even for years after I had the well bucket, I would have been trying to call my plumber and saying, how do I get this well off? Because I didn't have a clue, but I actually have helped him one time before, and I
Yeah.
think you did too. So we know how to pull.
Twice. I think I've done it twice now,
Yeah,
or three times.
we know how to pull the pump out of the well, so that's a good thing. We have the well bucket. We do need to make sure we have some good rope,
Yeah.
because the well bucket is useless to us if we have no rope.
Or if the rope breaks.
Yeah, then we couldn't use the well anyway.
Yeah,
We're
you
not
could
gonna-
use a well. It would eventually fall out.
Oh, that's true. I guess it would, but we wouldn't have a well bucket anymore.
So what happens? All right. So what happens if the rope breaks? The well bucket's gone. We can't do that anymore. The well is useless to us. What do we do then?
Well, we have one other choice, and that's would even be more laborious, but it would sustain life. We have a creek on our property.
2 creeks
Yeah. And so,
that meet together.
of course, we wouldn't be riding the four-wheeler back there. We would be walking, and it's quite far back there. And that's something that we need to develop a plan about with our animals, because we couldn't bring enough water back here for them. Well, I mean, I guess we could, but it would be all we did that day.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that would be all that we did, was pack water for the animals, and that's not sustainable.
No.
Um,
Now, in a situation, and we talked about this briefly too. If look, when we told you we were starting this series, we told you we don't want to be doom and gloomers. We don't want to be end of the world type scenarios. But when you start thinking about different scenarios in which you may lose water, one of them is for some extended period of time or forever. I don't know, some war, whatever. But in that scenario, it is important for us to note that if neither me nor Corey had a job anymore, then Corey would be here.
You're right. That's
so
right.
I would have a young back and
Yeah.
a young set of legs.
Yeah,
and
because if there's
arms.
no power, I guess there's no reason for power workers, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be, if Corey's out of a job, it's bad.
Yeah, it would be really bad.
It's bad.
But one thing that we did discuss is moving the animals closer back to the creek. We couldn't leave the animals back there because we do have coyotes and stray dogs and stuff like that.
Unless we stayed back there.
Yeah, unless we stayed back there, which that would be a possibility too. But to think about being in that worst case scenario of being without water, needing to get our water from the creek, I would lose the comfort of home too. The simplicity that I have of being at home.
Yeah.
Where things are easier for me, where I have all my stuff.
Right. Everything's organized. And
Yeah. So that would be that really, when you start talking about this, it really just starts snowballing.
It does. It starts snowballing.
It starts
Now,
snowballing.
you mentioned the creek. Where does the water in the creek come from?
That way?
No, you're missing you missed my cue. Now, a while ago, you nailed it on the swimming pool.
From rain? From the
it does. It does come from rain, but our creeks are never dry.
Yeah, they're
because
spring-fed.
They're spring fed, and here's one now, and there are several locations back around the creek where water just constantly, even in the dry. We've never seen these dry. I'm not sure that maybe they have been, but we've never seen them, and so we have kicked around the idea of making a permanent, I don't know what you call it, spring head.
That's all I know.
With cleaning it out, maybe even pouring some concrete around where you would have access to clean water coming directly up out through the spring, and protecting it in various ways. So we've got that to consider too. We would still like to do that just for the fun of it. If not,
Yeah, it would be really neat
It'd
to-
be neat to have it.
Yeah. So one thing that is in our plan in the future, probably not near future, is we would like to dig a pond. We have an area, years ago, we had the soil and water people come out and they test it all over our property. And the best place on our property is in our pasture, which is back behind the high tunnel, where it's most likely would hold water. And so if we could get to the point that we did the pond, all the issues of having water would be dealt with. And so,
Except in severe drought, if it were to happen in severe drought as well.
well, I mean, it would have to be a drought for a long time.
That's true,
to
because
drop
it-
a
yeah.
pond, because it's going to be a decent sized pond.
Quarter acre.
Yeah, so
That's all.
So, that would solve our problem. That's not in our near future. So I really feel like we have a lot more planning to do as far as our water situation, looking at long term. I really feel like we do pretty good short term, knowing something's coming. Even if we don't know something's coming, we usually have enough water around that we can get through a day or two.
I would say even short to midterm,
Yeah.
we would be okay.
Yeah.
The only thing I would be concerned about is in an apocalyptic situation,
Yeah.
and then I think we'd still be okay because of thinking through things like this.
Yeah, and going back to Katrina, we never ran out of our gasoline. We never had to go back to town to get gasoline. Not that we had 10 cans of gasoline, but once Katrina hit and the devastation was over, we actually were going up to our church and working the shelter there. So we were spending all day. We would leave at 10 o'clock in the morning and not come home till 10 o'clock at night. So we weren't home using up
Our resources.
our resources. That's right. So the only time we ran the generator was at night, to fill up the bathtubs, to get our drinking water and stuff like that. Had we been here the whole time, the 10 days, we probably would have ran the generator a whole lot more. We ran the generator to keep our freezers going too.
Right.
We'd run them at night.
Yeah.
But and then when he would hook up the generator, I would automatically go fill up the bathtubs.
Yeah.
And everything. But yeah, I think honestly the fix to our situation is a pond. And then we would have food, fish. Mm-hmm. I could go fish anytime I wanted to.
In fact, what'd you get for Christmas?
I got a fly rod for Christmas. Our oldest son Cameron got me a fly rod. I've never fly fished before, but he says I could really catch a lot of brim with that. So I'm
You
excited
said
about
it's
that.
been a long time since we talked about the pond. I think it's been 20 years because I think Cameron was 10. He was 8 or 10 years old when the soil conservation man came and took Cameron with him. It was pretty cool. Took Cameron
Yeah.
with him all over the entire 116 acres, testing deep down in the soil for a spot that would hold water without amendments.
Yeah.
You can put a pond in a lot of places that wouldn't hold water if you want to spend the money to amend the soil. I forgot the different things you put in the soil, but you can make it hold water. But he found one spot on our whole 116, and that's where Patty described earlier, and with a dam, a small dam through a little ravine area would make about a quarter acre pond, and his testing indicated it would hold water without amendments. But that's been at least 20 years because Cameron's 30.
No, it's not been 20 years because that was after we had made the pasture. And it's only been 21 years since we moved here.
Okay, so Cameron was older than 10.
Yeah, he was probably 12. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have
All right.
let him go with that man we didn't know if he was just 10.
Yeah, okay, well,
Just saying.
I'm not sure you let him. It might have been me.
It might have been you. Yeah. But anyway, so I do have on my list, on my plan, for the future of pond. Another thing we want to get that will be beneficial is a water filtration system. I've wanted to have that anyway. We have had a few little issues with our well where it got contaminated, and like a Berkeley water filter or something like that. I haven't done real in-depth research. I know of the Berkeley. I would like to have that just in the house, and then that way, I think if we lost power and we didn't have water poured up, I think we could pour rainwater through it. I'm not sure.
Need to
though.
find out.
But
Let us know if you're aware of a filtration system that will catch E. coli and other coliforms and things like that. Let us know in the comments below because we're interested in.
Yeah,
that's what we want it for.
We're definitely in the market for that. I think that would help our plan situation too.
Sure.
Because if we were to go back to the creek to get water, we could pour it through that.
And we've got life straws.
We do have some life straws. We
We
do.
could also, and I think you should put on your list that we can invest in some additional, probably bigger portable filtration systems.
Portable filtration system.
There's name them in the comments, y'all. There's several portable filtration systems that because the life straw is, I think it's a good product, but dude, it'll wear you slap out trying to suck a mouthful through that thing. You know, it's hard to suck through. So we should have, I think, some more portable filtration systems where we could take and I don't know if you can if there are pour through kind or not.
I think there are.
But that you can do a gallon or whatever, 5 gallons at a time.
So, but that's as far as we've gotten on our water plan. And water is an issue for us, and I mean, even if you live in the city or you have, I think it's an issue for all of us that don't have it figured out yet. And I know some of us do. Some of us aren't there yet, and we want to be, we were Tommy on the introduction video, he had said that, not that we'll ever arrive. I would like to arrive at water sustainability.
Yeah, that's right.
That's, and like I said, we're not going to die. We'll go back to the creek. Getting all of our animals back there, getting them back here. We can't bring chickens on a walk, So
You can't herd chickens?
I don't think it'd be too easy.
I don't know. You just showed them following us the other day on our morning walk.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's right. 100% sustainability, self-sufficiency, I think was really what I was getting after in the introductory video. 100% self-sufficiency is not attainable in 2021. I don't think, because that means you got to make all your own clothes with fabric that you make also.
With cotton that you've grown.
With cotton that you grow or sheep that you've sheared. Yeah. So maybe it is. Maybe 100% self-sufficiency is attainable.
I think it could be attainable. Well, maybe not without trade, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Because I'm thinking even back to the 1800s. They still did trade. They still traded for things. So.
Well, but the point is, as Patty mentioned, water self-sufficiency is attainable. For us, it is. If you live in the city, I don't know. But because of what God's blessed us with the resources we have already at our disposal, with the addition of a pond, I think we would have water sustainability licked. So why are we talking about this? Well, we've been thinking about it. You need to think about it. And we can help each other. What have we missed in our consideration? And you've heard the things that we've talked and the plans that we've made. What have we missed? Some of you have been sitting there watching this screaming, what about this? What about this?
I know some people's been thinking about, what about water in your garden? What about water in your high tunnel? And we're going to deal with that. We're
going to deal with that when we talk about sustainable gardening and the sustainable high tunnel. But let us know what we missed.
Yes,
let us know some concerns that you have, maybe your situation
that we haven't thought about.
Maybe you live in a city or whatever. I don't want to confine that to that. But my point is, what if your situation is totally dissimilar to ours? Have you given this any thought to how you would sustain yourself with water for an extended period of time? Let us know in the comments, and we'd appreciate hearing from you. Is that it?
That's it. I believe that's it.
All right. Well, we appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time on Sustainable Saturday, and probably a few times in between.
Yes.
Don't forget to give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. We appreciate either one of those. Subscribe to us if you haven't. And we are so thankful for every one of you. And we'll see you next time at Alderman Farms. About 5 minutes ago, I had this horrible thought. What if it's not recording?
Oh my gosh, really? You better hit push record.
It's recording.